Hello and welcome to SIBO Volatility 411. My name is Dan Deming and I'm with KKM Financial. Well, we're seeing the SPX giving up a little ground here midday, and with that we're seeing the VIX coming off the lows. The VIX was below 13 initially, but now 1345. So up on the day, even though the market's just down slightly, but we are seeing some firmness in the VIX cash as we move into the weekend. I also want to point out the premium levels in the VIX futures are still elevated, really. When you look at the February future 1510, the March future 1560, a 50-cent roll market there, but again, significant premium to the cash, and I think part of the reason is we continue to see demand for high-side Feb calls. Looking at some of the other factors being priced in here, I want to point out that futures curve. Let's go out to October. Election premium is built in significantly. Huge risk premium in that October future, currently right around the 1970 levels. So you're seeing a substantial leap in expectations for volatility when you move into that October cycle, which is the month just prior to the election. Interesting dynamic there. Looking at VVIX, measure implied volatility in the VIX options, 92 right now. Middle of the range for the week. We saw a low of 90, a high of 95, but we are seeing some firmness as we now see the SPX giving up a little ground. And I want to point out what Mike Palmer pointed to yesterday. The high side call buying in the Feb complex continues. Not too much at this point today, but another 100,000 of the Feb 23s were purchased yesterday for 49 cents. We're seeing anything above the Feb 20 line, substantial open interest. And I think part of the driving factors is that we're seeing the SPX appreciate significantly in the first few weeks this year. And I think you're just seeing some reallocation into the vol structure as we see gains maybe being realized in the equity side, so therefore rolling those gains into some VIX exposure, and I think it's why we continue to see these Feb call buyers. Also, I want to point out as we move into next week, we got a couple of factors to be focused on. Fed meeting next week, a big meeting, a coming announcement on Wednesday, earnings as well, and of course this coronavirus continues to play with the volatility expectations on an intraday basis. Not too much of a lasting impact, but I certainly want to point to the Fed minutes and earnings being part of the vol structure next week.